Okay, I figured I'd do a set of tutorials on Bash and the command line. Basically, it seems like the more we use these GUIs, the graphical user interfaces, the less familiar and comfortable we are at using the command line. And therefore we've gotten away from the days of DOS and stuff like that to where people were fairly comfortable with using the command line because that's how computing was done. But now with all the graphical user interfaces that are out there anymore, we've just gotten away from using the command line so much that we're uncomfortable with it a lot of times. So with Linux we tend to use it a lot and it's needed sometimes, so it's better to just be familiar with it and comfortable with it and be more productive with it also. So first thing is we're going to get familiar with the terminals. Okay, so all the different distributions pretty much come with terminals, and they all have their own features and different properties you can change. Okay, so here I have four different text editors, or four different terminals on my computer here, and as you can see they're all a little bit different. We have some with menus, some that don't have menus. So if you don't have any with, if you have one that you don't see this file exit, the menu at the top there, you can just do a right click and then show menu bar. Okay, and you can get to it that way. If you have one like this, we don't have a show menu bar. So the first thing we're going to do is go into preferences, so you can just click on preferences and get to it that way. Or if you're you can just click on edit if you have the menu bar, click on edit, and then profile preferences. Okay, so I'm going to close these other terminals out. Okay, and I'll have this here. So the first thing I do is I change and uncheck the box saying use the system's fixed width and font. Okay, and I change my font and font size, and I go with Andale Mono because the characters are nicely set up to where they each look different enough from each other. The capital I is not just a straight up and down line. A capital O is different from a 0, and the lowercase l looks different. It's not just a straight up and down line also. So it doesn't look like this or any of these other ones. So I like the Andale Mono myself, and I also increased the font size. There's mostly for one reason, is it's easier for me to see and read and without having to squint or strain my eyes. On computers a lot of times people can get headaches and different things like that. It's just easier and better, I think, to have it at a larger font size, so there's no strain. Just takes a little more stress out of computing. And it can become stressful at times, of course. So that's why I do that. Plus, with the larger font size, it'll be easier for you all to see what I'm doing too. Commands. You can change a lot of times, different preferences for different commands in the terminals and the way it reacts to those. Now, by default, when you type exit, most of the time it will be set up to exit the terminal. For this set of tutorials, and while you're viewing these, it would be best to set that to restart the command. Okay, that'll just refresh your terminal because we're going to be making changes to our bash, the actual bash scripts and stuff like that. So as we make changes, we don't want to have to close out the terminal and then reopen it. This way we can just type exit and it will refresh it that way. For colors, dark colors for background are best, I'd say, and then light colors for the text is best. So if you're checked off on using system themes, it's best to just go ahead and set these manually so you know that you have control over those. Okay, and it's not just going to give you some random thing each time and stuff like that, so you'll know exactly how things are set up. And a lot of times you can change your background and you can make it transparent, depending on your distribution and what's available or what terminal you're using. And then you can change, and make it a background a lot of times, and you can lighten and darken that. Okay, but I'm just going to go with a solid background of black, and light colored fonts with a command for exit being restart the command, just refreshing the terminal more or less, and then increasing the font size and the font type. And that's about all the changes we have to make at this point. So the first thing we're going to do is open up a simple text editor. Okay, and anything will do. Can use mEdit. Okay. And the first thing we're going to do with this is do a save, even though it's an empty file. We're going to click on save, and then we'll give it a title of like bash rc.txt. Okay, and then just save that in your home folder. Alright, now we're going to open up our home folder, and the first thing we'll do is make sure we do have that bash rc.txt file, and here's mine right here. So you just want to make sure that's in there and you know where it's located at this point. And then we will go and show your hidden files. So you can do maybe a Control H, or just go up into view and show hidden files. However you can get to it, show your hidden files. Okay, and we're going to be looking for a document called .bash rc right here for me. See that? .bash rc. Okay, so open that up, and you can close this out. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this file, make sure you're all the way at the top, and we're going to highlight it and copy it. So you take and highlight and copy this whole file, and then you go into your other text editor, or if it just opened up in a new tab, you'll just click over to the new tab to where you get to your bash rc.txt file and paste that code in there. Okay, and I'm just going to check here, and it's all the way from the bottom, and it goes all the way to the top there. And the first thing we're going to do with that before we do anything else is do a save. And the reason for that is we're going to be making changes to this .bash rc file. So if we ever make a change and we can't seem to undo it and it messes things up, we'll always have an original copy here that we will have available to us so that we can copy it back into this folder, and everything will be just as it was before we started messing around with it. Okay, so more or less we just backed it up into this txt file, and it's like the original copy there. So we can close that out, and we can close this out, and now you're going to set up two terminals side by side. Okay, so it'll look like this. However you do it, but just put two terminals side by side like that. Okay, I'm just going to open up Terminator. Terminator is kind of nice for doing stuff like this because I can just do a split vertically, and I'll shorten this up and height a little bit and bring it over. Okay, and now we're going to open up two simple text editors, just really simple ones is fine. For me, mousepad here will work, and one more, And I'm going to do like a leaf pad here. Okay. So just two simple text editors underneath your two terminals, so you'll have so you can view these all at the same time. Okay. Okay. So basically, we're going to be using text editors within the terminal, and the one I'm going to be using is Nano. There's other ones like Vim and stuff like that, but I'm going to be using Nano. And we're going to go nano.bash rc, and we'll click enter. Okay. So now we're in that .bash.rc file that we were in before. The first thing you need to know about Nano, I'm just going to give you a couple commands to make you a little familiar with it. When we make changes and we need to save them, we'll do a command O, and that'll let us write to that file. And when we go to exit, you just do a Control X. Control X will take you out of it. Okay. And if you want to type your last command, so instead of us typing out nano.bash rc, again, you can just do a up arrow, and that will give us our history of our command line. And so that was our last one. We can just retype that, or do a up arrow and enter in that way. Okay. I think I will end this tutorial here, because I'm not sure how much time I have. So I'll end this here, and when we get back, we're going to get to this point here we're going to try and get to this point here. Okay? We'll be getting everything set up and color coded. See you on the next tutorial.